Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive challenge, learning how to navigate our modern information landscape with genuine wisdom. You know, the internet gives us access to basically the sum of all human knowledge right at the push of a button. It's incredible. But let's be honest, not all of that knowledge is accurate. So let's dive right into the art of becoming truly prudent researchers.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The information maze. 2. Checking source credibility. 3. How to spot bias. 4. The balanced approach. And 5. Wisdom, morality, and peace. Let's jump in.
Section 1. The Information Maze. Navigating the web. We're starting off right in the wild, chaotic world of the internet, where absolutely not all information is created equal.
Think about it for a second. Literally anyone with a keyboard and a Wi-Fi connection can publish a blog, post a video, or write an article. And while that freedom is amazing, it also creates a massive trap. It's like a giant maze. If you just blindly trust everything you read online without checking its credibility, you risk absorbing and spreading totally false ideas. And even worse, if you use unverified sources in your own work, you're building incredibly weak arguments. You basically become an amplifier for misinformation.
Actually, there's an ancient piece of wisdom from Proverbs 14:15 that perfectly nails this dynamic. It says, "The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps." This brilliantly illustrates the difference between a simple internet user who just falls for anything and a prudent researcher who investigates. The simple user just scrolls, clicks, and accepts. But the prudent researcher, they pause, they give thought to their steps, and ask, wait, is this actually true?
Moving to Section 2. Checking source credibility. Finding the facts. Okay, let's build up your toolkit for verifying exactly what makes a source trustworthy.
So what exactly makes a source trustworthy? Well, there are 3 big green flags you want to look for. First up, an identifiable author. This means someone is actually putting their name on the line and taking responsibility for the claims. Second, a recent publication date. This ensures the information isn't totally outdated, which is absolutely crucial in fields like science or tech. And third, references to other reliable sources. This proves the author actually did their own homework before asking you to read theirs.
This all boils down to a super simple 4-step checklist you should be running through every single time you encounter a new article. Ask yourself, who wrote this? When was it written? Where was it published? Like, are we talking about a respected journal or just a random blog? And finally, is there hard evidence to support their claims? If a source can't pass this basic test, you need to proceed with extreme caution.
All right, Section 3. How to spot bias. Detecting hidden angles. Now here's the kicker. Even highly credible sources can have a hidden angle.
So, what actually is bias? Basically, it's a preference or an opinion that influences how information is presented to you. We're human, right? We all have opinions. That's totally normal. But spotting bias means recognizing when those personal opinions, subtly or sometimes aggressively, distort the presentation of the actual facts.
When you're reading an article, your internal bias radar should absolutely start blaring if you spot certain warning signs. Are they using crazy emotional language designed to make you angry or fearful? Are they pushing a totally one-sided viewpoint? You've got to watch out for wild exaggerations, harmful stereotypes, or a total refusal to even acknowledge that opposing views exist. If you see these, the author is clearly trying to steer your thinking rather than just inform you.
Now, you might be wondering, why go through all this effort? Well, spotting bias is literally the only way you can decide whether to trust the source, deeply question its motives, or just reject it entirely. Think about it. If you can't see the bias, you inevitably become a victim of it.
Which brings us to Section 4, the balanced approach, using sources wisely. Now that we know what bias looks like, let's look at a real-world scenario to see how a prudent researcher handles it.
Imagine you're researching the benefits of renewable energy. On one side, you've got a peer-reviewed science journal. It's packed with citations and up-to-date data. It's a highly credible, neutral source. But on the other side, you find a blog post from a solar panel company. This blog heavily praises solar power while completely ignoring wind or hydropower. It's biased, right? Because at the end of the day, their primary goal is to sell you a product.
So, what do you actually do with that biased solar panel blog? Do you just toss it in the digital trash and pretend it doesn't exist? Actually, no. Bias doesn't automatically make a source entirely worthless. The real question is, how can you use a biased source safely without letting it compromise the integrity of your own work?
The truly prudent move here is what we call the balanced approach. You can absolutely still use that solar company's blog for its specific data, like say their statistics on solar panel efficiency. But, and this is crucial, you carefully balance that data by verifying it against a neutral, science-based source, like that peer-reviewed journal we talked about. By doing this, you extract the valuable information without accidentally inheriting the author's bias.
Finally, Section 5, Wisdom, Morality, and Peace. The bigger picture. Let's take a step back from the mechanics of evaluating credibility for a second and look at the larger reason why we need these research skills in the very first place.
At Heroesmart Academy, the Godly Learners series intertwines biblical morality directly with education because of one core foundational belief. Education without morality will ultimately hurt. Being highly skilled at evaluating internet sources is a super powerful tool, for sure, but being smart without a moral compass to guide how you actually use that information, that just leads to pain, both for yourself and for the people around you.
And you know, this is where true wisdom steps in. When you approach the chaos of the internet not just as a skilled academic, but as a prudent, spiritually minded researcher, everything changes. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. By filtering the endless, deafening noise of the world through a strong moral lens, you protect your intellect and you maintain your peace.
I want to leave you with this one final provocative thought. What is the point of being smart and supposedly educated if you just continue to make bad choices that hurt? Use these research tools we've discussed today not just to win arguments, but to seek genuine truth, to evaluate the world wisely, and to ensure that your education always leads you toward peace.